On today's episode of Kilts and Culture with USA Kilts, we try Monkey Shoulder, the original blended Scotch malt whiskey. Welcome to Kilts and Culture. I am Rocky. This is Erik.
Victorian England had a huge influence on the fashions and styles that were happening in Highland dressy in Scotland.
Tartan is Scotland's gift to the world, and it is your personal heritage story. Howdy, boys and girls. Welcome to Kilts and Culture. I am your host, Rocky. That's Erik.
Yo.
Today, special treat. I'm done with the foot thing. I'm just going to bring it in by hand now.
Oh,
Okay.
No magic trick this time?
No magic trick.
Okay.
So, today we are drinking Monkey Shoulder, given to us by Jennifer Jordan. Correct. I'm very curious about this one. Jace tried it the other day for Jace's Faces, and he liked it. I guess is a strong term, but he didn't mind it. And I admit I smelled it, and I was intrigued this morning. So, we will pour this out.
Why are you pouring 3 glasses, Rocky?
Well, because we have a wonderful, lovely young man, Dan Mac McMichael.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mac. Let's hear it for him. Hey. So glad you could make it on the show.
Yeah, well,
hey, good to see you. Good to see
And
you.
we're twinsies today.
This is embarrassing. We're wearing the same outfit.
I think that's hysterical. I kind of love that, actually.
We don't have that many crossover, but
No. We have like Dropkick. We have well, there's a bunch you haven't made yet too. We probably have crossovers.
one's 90% there.
You're both wearing company shirts, too. I noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least some of us are. So what tartan are you wearing today, Mac?
Well, I think I am wearing the Stewart of Appin hunting weathered.
No.
What do we?
No.
What
You are wearing the Stewart of Appin hunting reproduction.
Oh,
because
I'm
it is
sorry.
dog leash
Yes.
cloth.
Oh, man.
Ha!
But
Got him! Erik, what are you wearing today?
I am wearing the scruffiest of all Wallaces.
Indeed. It is
Yep.
lovely.
I love it.
lovely. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Looking.
All right.
I'm out.
And
See ya.
away we go.
Away we go.
Exit stage right.
To exit stage right.
Okay. So today we're gonna drink Monkey Shoulder. Enough of this shenanigans. Today we're drinking Monkey
Oh,
Shoulder.
we're just getting started.
Oh, I know. Jennifer, thank you for this lovely gift.
Thank you.
Where are the tasting notes? Who's got them? You?
Oh, I think I have them here.
Okay.
All right. So what are we getting on the nose?
Okay. Earlier when I was smelling it, I was like, oh, okay. Matt, I think Matt said he smelled pear, and I'm like, okay, I can get a little bit of pear maybe. Now that I'm smelling it, it kind of smells like a stale bar smell, like the night afterwards.
Like aftershave or.
I don't know.
See,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the notes,
Right?
so I'm kind of being led down that path.
Stale bar smell.
No, the zesty orange, vanilla, honey, and spiced oak.
Spiced oak. Much tastier than the regular non-spiced oak. I get the spice in tasting it, not as much in smelling it. I get the honey.
So they're saying smooth, malty, and fruity character, mellow vanilla, citrus zesty with spicy hints.
Okay.
Features a more mild flavor, so it is better for mixing into cocktails.
Okay. It is reasonably mild.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
I don't know how smooth I would call it. It's pretty burny to me.
Yeah, I don't think it's super smooth. Well, all right.
I think it's on the front end, it's a little bitier, and then just
I think it's very bitey
tapers
on the front.
way off.
Back end
Yeah.
is very.
It's like it's gone.
Is that like it's like the Wilhelm scream of scotches.
So they're saying the finish is medium length, spiced oak, and a hint of vanilla on the tail.
Well, I get a little bit of the oak. I will agree with the oak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of vanilla. Is it weird to say I like the aftertaste better than the taste?
No, and I think I agree with you.
So, yeah.
Yeah, a little peppery.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's because it doesn't say how many years it is or anything like that. It's blended, so it's going to be a mix. It's batch 27. I don't know if that means anything.
27 monkeys
Exactly.
coming this summer.
All squished into one bottle. I don't know. Mac, give me something.
I'm debating. I don't know.
I don't know if I like it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
It's almost reverse how I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
I expected it to be a little bit more bitier at the end, and it just comes in with swinging and then
Yeah.
leaves cuddling.
Sort of like the first time I ever met Mac. He came in swinging and we left cuddling.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. All right.
It does say that it is better for mixing with cocktails, so maybe that's where they're heading with this is to be more of a
You don't have to feel guilty about mixing this in a cocktail. It's not like, it's like a down war or
Not
something.
like you're
where
wasting
feel
good stuff.
Yeah, you're not wasting anything good.
No, it's
It's opening up a little bit for me now. I'm getting some of the pepperiness.
it doesn't have a huge flavor
I don't think
profile on its
I don't think I'm
own.
getting the honey. A
we,
little bit of the vanilla.
This for
I
me
do
like
get
the
the yolk.
sweet is the honey.
Well, we do have one gentleman here, I don't know. We have Stag saying, Monkey Shoulder makes a great old fashioned.
Okay.
It is made for blending after us, so he's saying agreeing with that. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll
That's-
take the bottle home.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
that's-
in fairness, everything we drink on the show, we are drinking essentially neat or with a touch of water. We're not blending it in for cocktails. So, yes, we did. What did we do last month? Like salted caramel whiskey
Celtic,
or something. Yeah, it was.
no cocktails.
That was something. And we didn't make any cocktails of it. We discussed it with cocktails, but we drank it straight, for better or worse.
Did you
Maybe
just put a vitamin water in it?
I heard it was good for mixing.
It's like watered down blood. So, okay.
It's pretty awful. But more drinkable. Old fashions are actually my spouse's favorite
Okay.
cocktail, so I'm happy to take this bottle off your hands.
I don't know.
We'll test the old fashioned theory.
Was it old fashions that you made in here, or was that a No, that was
Hot toddy.
I mean, hot ties.
yeah.
I've never made any cold beverages in this building.
Yes, indeed.
Not
okay.
yet.
All right, Mac. Score it 1 to 10. Eric's score maybe slightly tainted at this point.
I'm going 4.3. I'm still not sure.
Okay.
Like I don't know.
Okay. Feeling it. All right, Erik.
Yeah, it's definitely made for mixing. I would give it 4.1 because I could find better stuff for mixing. I think I will take the whole old fashioned thing on board, but I wouldn't drink it on its own.
Yeah.
I wouldn't refuse it if somebody offered it to me at a party, as you say, but I wouldn't go out of my way for it either.
Yeah, I'm right in the same ballpark. 4.3.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. It's not something I would go out and buy. I would definitely not drink it on its own. I would not, wax poetic on a long evening by the fire, sipping on my
some
monkey
vitamin
shoulder. I'm all set. Mix it with my coffee maybe. But yeah, no.
Well, we do have Jason saying a Rusty Nail or a Rob Roy it's good with. So
Okay.
it seems like
it
seems like a lot of the comments that are coming in and the people who like it and have used it enjoy it in a mixed setting and trying to,
because we've always made our old fashions with bourbon, so okay. We'll see.
I'm
The Rusty
disappointed.
Nail, that's a Robert.
I thought I was going to like it more. I thought when I smelled this morning, just pulling the top off and smelling it, I was just like, ooh, I'm going to like this. I smelled more fruity stuff. But yeah, I like notes, not like actual all fruity kind of. Yeah, I don't know. I'm.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not what I want though. It's not what I want. I want it to be more. Be more monkey shoulder.
I like the monkeys.
Now, there's an interesting story about the name. The name monkey shoulder is from an injury that the distillers would get in what did Matt say?
When they were shoveling out the rye and other grains
grist mill or something?
from the thing from
Yeah. Did he say grist mill? No.
No, it's from the.
No. Yeah. It's an injury.
I was gonna guess it's either from the still or from the toasting floors, like the buildings where they spread it out.
Right.
To to toast it.
Right.
And to dry it. But it's some kind of repetitive stress injury.
Yeah.
From shoveling all the grains. So.
So.
Hey, he's got the monkey shoulder.
It's got a cool name. It's got a nice little 3 monkeys on the bottle there. Boop, boop.
Yeah.
See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed. All right, very good. Enough of that.
Or very mediocre.
Yeah.
We should totally do cocktails on the show sometime. What do you say, Mac? USA Kilts Luau.
I'm up for it. I mean, I liked the hot toddies when we did those. Those were really good.
Yeah, that was very nice.
So I'm.
Did you take home that the one that what was it the honey? Last time, did you take home the bottle from last month?
The salted caramel. Yeah.
Yeah, the salted caramel.
Yeah,
What was it?
Mac loved it.
Yeah, I know.
That was amazing.
So have you mixed anything with it?
Nope. Don't need to.
Don't need to. It's all good.
Tastes like gasoline. Love it. All right, boys and girls, load in your comments. Any questions you have about Highland wear, kilts, culture, anything like that, we are but your humble servants here to answer your questions. All right. Erik, what do we have first up on the pre-submitted question sheet?
Well, okay, Rocky, let me check the magic clipboard here. Steve Walters said, any thoughts on more monochromatic looks around the kilt, like putting ancient blue flashes or garters on navy hose? So like toning down your all over the palette, the whole outfit.
Okay. Going with a theme color, as it were. Sure. I will go a step further even, and say that it could work. Depending on the tartan and the outfit, it could work 100%. Tartans that I had this kind of light switch moment several years ago. The tartans that I was kind of drawn to, I think, Mac, was it you that said it or me that said it originally? When I was just like, oh, I like this tartan because there's 2 colors of blue in it or 2 colors of green in it. And it's how the colors kind of interact together is what draws me in on certain things. If you look at our new American Dream tartan, well, not new, it's a year old now. But if you look at the American Dream tartan, there's 3 shades of red and 3 shades of blue. So it's visually interesting to see how similar colors, if you take a paint card from Sherwin-Williams and look at the colors going down the same card, if you can get colors in the same kind of family and see how they kind of interact together and add to it, it's a neat effect in the tartan itself, and I would extend that to potentially the kilt hose and flashes or things like that with the outfit as well. Doing a shirt in a blue color with a vest in a slightly off blue color that toned well together. Hose and flashes that go similarly. What are your thoughts?
I guess monochromatic is the word I would use. I would think that choosing like a very limited colorway might be how I'd put it, because I think if you go, my mind went to the extreme. I wear a lot of black, and I was trying to imagine, okay, what if I just had a kilt and then black shirt, black tie, black hose, black garters. Boys at time bomb. I was waiting for you to make a joke.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Cadillac now. Yeah, boys at time bomb.
So I was imagining that. I was like, I think the kilt would pop too much. You gotta have some kind of interest in the rest of the outfit, otherwise it's gonna look unbalanced. But I could see like playing around with toning down all the color in general. Like imagine like doing a reproduction palette tartan like this, and then doing like gray on gray hose and flashes, and then a gray on gray tie, You know what I mean? And then like maybe like just a red, like a red gemstone tie bar to pick up the red in the tartan, boop, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like really subtle, not entirely monochrome, but just very
In the
subtle
same
shades.
family,
Yeah,
yeah.
because otherwise, I think if you have no interest at all, it's gonna look weird because you're just like, you're the kabuki theater guy, the kabuki ninja with just the kilt showing, just dancing around in the darkness.
Well, I mean, for my wedding, I wore I had the solid black kilt, a black shirt, and then I had a black Argyle jacket and vest and black hose, and I had red flashes, a red tie.
And a red fish skin leather on the sporran.
On the sporran. So it gave the little red accents here and there. So like that.
That's what I'm talking
That's
about.
kind of where
you had
you made me think of that.
Exactly. Yeah, because very, very subdued, but then a little bit of pop.
Yeah.
I think as long as you have some kind of a pop or some kind of interest, like, top, middle, bottom. If you think about how we tend to talk about balancing an outfit, top and bottom is like top up around the neck, middle, the sporran or the tartan, bottom, the flashes, and then, you could do anything in that sense.
And I was just thought of this as well. A few years ago, I designed. This is not like only my design. It's something I just did and had a custom thing done with House of Cheviot. We did two-tone kilt hose. So we took their Lewis hose, and I said, okay, I want the leg of the hose to be. We did navy blue leg and ancient blue tops. We did ancient green. No. Excuse me. We didn't. We did ancient green top and navy blue and ancient blue leg. We did a modern and ancient and a weathered.
Right.
Shoot, I was so close. But no, we kind of did because we had the charcoal leg with the mid-gray top. So it is monochromatic-esque kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it could work. It could work. As long as the colors play well together, as long as they're in the same sandbox, playing nicely, no one's stealing each other's toys, then you're good to go.
I think
kinda where I'm at.
subtlety can be hard in some ways, like finding a tie and flashes could be a hard thing to get matching tones on unless you're buying them from us, because we try to do that. We try to arrange that. But if you're looking at a regular silk tie and trying to find exactly the right gray to match something else you're wearing, that could be a bit of a challenge. But it can be fun. I mean, I've gone extreme to the point of wearing an all black outfit with just a tartan necktie. And then the last time I did it, or my favorite way of doing it a long time ago was black hose and flashes, black kilt, black shirt, black Argyle vest. So I had the silver, and then a Alaska State Seal necktie, and then I had an electric blue sporran chain.
Yep.
You remember that?
Yep.
So it was very modern, very out there for an outfit, but it was fun.
And he wears the black for the poor and the beaten down, living on the hopeless, hungry side of town.
Yep.
Yes.
Until what is it? How's it go? Until that day, I'll always be the man in black.
Yep.
So it goes. Yeah.
Till things are brighter.
Till
I'm
things
the
are
man in
brighter,
black.
I'm the man
Yep.
in black. Yeah.
Yep.
Things are brighter. I'm the man in black.
God rest Johnny Cash.
Here.
All right. Hope that answer helps. All right, Mr. Mack, do we have anything rolling in from the interwebs?
We do. We've got a couple questions rolling in. David Barr wants to slip a question in since we're talking about the monochromatic there. He's like, he's asking, can he do a American Dream full tartan outfit monochromatic?
Yes. Just
Red, white, and blue Argyle hose. No. Red and blue Argyle hose with a white and then a gold stripe going across it. Yes, with his full kilt suit outfit. There you go. And then wear like America flavored Nikes.
Is he?
Red, white, and blue shoes. Go all.
Is he asking us to make an American Dream weathered? Is that what he's asking for, really?
I don't know.
That might look kind of cool.
We'll see.
American Dream weathered. Or sorry, reproduction.
Yes.
Reproduction. I can't roll.
It depends on which mill it comes from.
Yes.
Right.
Indeed.
All right. So we have D King asking, what's your advice for someone ordering a wool kilt to grow into?
To grow into.
How much growing are we talking? Like,
Are we talking about
an adult? Or are we
growing
talking
out? Or are we talking about growing up?
Yeah, like a teenager or.
Let's assume height. We'll do both.
I'm guessing it's a kid.
Well, yeah.
But
Yeah. A wool kilt, did he say?
Wool kilt.
Oof.
Don't do it.
Well, if you're independently wealthy, it's fine. No, for a wool kilt, that you want to get a few more years out of if you have someone who's, growing height-wise. I would order a kilt and then also ask for it to be hemmed. So let's say, the family in general, it ends up around 6 foot tall at full adulthood. And let's say the kid is 13 years old. So he's got, another few inches to grow. So if he's going to end up at 6 foot tall, roundabout, then I'd say order the kilt to 24 and ask for it to be made with a 2-inch hem so that you can let it out those 2 inches. If he's like, let's say 5'6" right now or 5'7" right now, but he's going to be, a few years taller or a few inches taller in a few years. I would also, even, for somebody 13, I would also probably allow for a little bit of growth outwards as well.
You're going to bulk out.
Exactly. After you're, after you turn 21 and you find, brown liquors and beer, you tend to put on a little bit of weight. After you start eating out a lot more in your 20s and after, your metabolism slows in your late 20s and 30s, you tend to put on a little bit of weight. So I would say potentially order it to the tighter hole on the strap. So the straps on a kilt tend to have about a 3-inch play. So if you're making a kilt, let's say you're going to make it to 35, if that's your measurement currently, that kilt will generally, most kilt makers put it to the middle. So it'd be like 33.5 to 36.5. I might ask my kilt maker, if it's a younger kid, okay, he's measuring 35 right now. He's only 13. Can you make 35 to the tightest hole to give him 3 inches to grow over time? Something like that. And that would allow a little bit of growth out. And then also, hey, let's make the kilt to 24 and then hem it 1.5 inches, 2 inches. That way you can drop that after time.
But don't we say it's a bad idea to hem a wool kilt? Usually,
it's not ideal. But if you're trying to get extra years out of it,
okay,
then it's an easier, quick fix than ordering a brand new kilt.
I think fudging the waist measurements a little bit makes sense to me.
Yeah,
the hemming thing might be like the next level, and I don't know if I would personally do that. I'd rather order a length I think is going to be, that they will grow into. And if it looks a little long on them now, so be it. Or if they need to hike it up a little bit more, so be it. They're 13, whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would personally choose to do the hemming thing. But I think fudging the waist measurement and hip measurement a little bit to allow for expansion would make sense.
Yeah, if it depends, I would say I don't disagree with you. I don't generally like hemmed kilts. However, if I'm trying to get a lot more life out of it, that is an option because you can hem essentially 2 inches. So that would be like 6 inches in height. What 2 inches would allow for about 6 inches in height. The rule of thumb for kilts. A kilt is essentially a third, using regular average proportions, a kilt is a third the length of your body. So if you are 6 foot tall, which is 72 inches, a third of that is 24. So a 2-inch hem would allow for times 3, about a 6-inch height difference. Now, if the kid is, 16, and he might grow another inch or two, then just order it in an extra inch or two long. That's it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Or, just wrap them in a great kilt.
That's true as well. Mac, you want to add something?
D King he's still on here, and he did say he's probably not growing in height wise at all, but almost certainly in adulthood.
Okay.
As
filling out.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Then I would just do the waist measurement, fudging hack. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Cool. Hope that helped. All right.
My turn.
What do we got next?
Okay. All right. This one's from across the pond, so to speak. Emily. Hi, Emily from Glasgow here. Hi, Emily. I like watching your show, but it grates like nails on a chalkboard when you sometimes call Scottish people Scotch. We are not a drink. Other than that, keep up the good work. So it's more of a comment than a question, actually, but I don't know when I've ever referred to Scottish people as Scotch. Ever.
We've gotten random. First, let me start by saying, yes, we know that Scotch is a drink It is not the way you refer to Scottish people.
Right.
We get this comment occasionally on YouTube, or like especially on like random videos. I think what the difference is, I think what they're actually hearing is not what we're saying. So if I am Scottish, keep in mind, I have a horrible fake Scottish accent, which is why I won't do it generally. But for purpose of this little video here, I'll say this. When you're talking to someone who is Scottish, they pronounce Scottish different than Americans pronounce Scottish. So if you're saying Scottish, if you're actually Scottish, you're saying the O like ought. So you're saying Scottish, and you're having a hard guttural stop, a hard guttural T, like Scottish. So you're kind of separating the word into two halves. Americans tend to, or at least we do, I'll speak for us, say it fast and kind of push it together and say the ah instead of an o, as for the O in Scottish.
Scottish.
So Scottish.
Scottish.
So if we say Scottish fast, it almost sounds like Scotch. So we're not saying or pronouncing it Scotch. We're saying Scottish. But I don't know if the mics can't pick it up, or if you're just hearing it wrong, or if it's not used to the way you are hearing it, way you are used to hearing it said. Because in Scotland it's pronounced Scottish. It's again, my horrible accent. I apologize. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's a way we could train ourselves to say it, to at least try and slow it down, like Scottish, like pronounce the T, if not doing the Scot.
It sounds
sound, but
so unnatural.
Scottish.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah,
and we sound even dumber. No, it's
so you go the other way. You wind up sounding like a bad Kennedy impression, like I am proud of my Scottish ancestry. Except he was Irish.
Park my car and Harvard Yard.
Park my car. Yep.
There's a lot of words that I've found in doing videos, and I'm sure you found as well, that are a bit difficult for Americans or people who didn't grow up saying them to pronounce them. Just like, if you have not grown up trilling your R's, doing the thing with trilling your R's, I find it impossible. I can't do it, nor would I really try. And that leaves people like, oh, well, you're not saying it right. Well, yeah, I know. It's my voice, my vocal cords, my instrument is not trained that way. We get occasional comments, not a lot, occasional comments on the way that Americans pronounce ski and do. Where you kind of say it fast or say skin do. It's not skin like your skin color. It's not skin do. It's SGIAN. Sgian. You're actually pronouncing almost all the letters, where we're not really used to those noises coming out of my face hole. So I tried it. The trick I use for ski and do is say it like skiing, but leave off the last G. So skiing do for that one. But it's not words we're used to saying and you're used to hearing as a Scottish person in the same way that we're used to saying them here in the States.
I bet there's a bit of a regional difference too, because I know that folks from down south tend to they enunciate a little bit slower, a little bit more precisely. And I bet if they say Scottish, it's not as bad as if somebody from up here in Pennsylvania is saying Scotch. We as this part of the country tends to talk faster than other parts of the country. That's a good point. You know what I mean? So I think that's part of it also, is you're a victim of our Philadelphia-ness, if you may say.
The thing I found most amusing was the word Scotch in general has a weird history to it in and of itself. Because you poked at it a little bit, making sure we were understanding the question and the history of the etymological-ness of the word. And Scotch started out as an English word for Scottish people.
Correct. And basically it worked kind of like this. Don't quote me exactly, but back in like the 15th century or so, 16th century, when what's called early modern English was developing, before that they would say Scottish. And then early modern English started to blend words together and smooth them out.
Right.
So Scottish became Scotch in English. And so that was, but in like Shakespeare, I guess apparently some of his stuff is like he uses both terms, one is Scottish and Scotch, almost interchangeably. And then by the time of, say, Robert Burns in the late 18th century, it was more fashionable in Scotland, at least in the lowlands, to have a more anglicized way of speaking. So they adopted Scottish as their self-descriptor. And then right after that, in the early 19th century and forward, as the national identity started to reform and revive, everybody was like, no. That was an anglicized version that we adopted. We're going to reject it and go back to Scottish Scot.
You meant Robert Burns had Scotch as the
yes
correct.
There's even a letter. There's an example of a letter he wrote where he's talking about Auld Lang Syne, the song, and he actually uses the word. It is very much a Scotch thing to do to write a song like this or something like that. So
then it became the people were referred to as Scottish, and things of Scotland were referred to as Scotch.
Mm-hmm. And that was mostly because of whiskey, because there were so many knockoff whiskeys around that the distillers in Scotland realized that they needed to make sure people understood that this is the real deal. So they sort of recoined or reminted the term to refer specifically to whiskey that had been made in Scotland, as opposed to whiskey from any place else.
Yeah, and we get lambasted on occasion for referring to this as Scotch. You can refer to it as whiskey. You can refer to it as Scotch. Both are correct. If you go into a liquor store anywhere in the States, it will have Scotch, it will have bourbon, it will have Irish whiskey. So it will have different sections, and you can refer to it. In Scotland, they would refer to it as whiskey. That's it. It's just whiskey. Yeah. But you're also in Scotland, so obviously it's just whiskey there, because you don't have to say it's Scotch whiskey because
I wonder if their stores would say something like foreign whiskeys or something.
And then
like
they have
that.
Ireland. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's go ahead, laugh it up, monkey boy. But yeah, so anyway, it's the idea of Scottish or Scot, a Scot, has been the preferred form for over 200 years.
Yeah, of referring to people.
Referring to people, but as referring to exports, it was still used for marketing purposes.
Correct. So if you ever hear an American say what sounds like Scotch, but listen closely and see if they're actually saying Scottish really quick, because again, we pronounce it differently than it is pronounced, especially in the Northeast where we speak fast, than it is pronounced in Scotland. So, or Scottish.
And we're not going to try and say Scottish, because then we sound like we're mocking the language, and that would be even worse.
I know, and I can't
That'd
imagine.
Be stupid.
Yes, it would sound very stupid, and I can't imagine being like mid-sentence. I mean, like yes. So I was talking to a Scottish person about doing this, and then he talked like it sounds like I had an aneurysm mid-sentence. No, we're going to continue saying Scottish, the way that we normally say it.
I might try to slow it down a little bit, just see if I can, to say Scottish as opposed to Scottish. Okay. I don't know. I'm just wondering if I can do it.
Yeah.
But it goes against my nature as a Northeast person. Basically, in Philadelphia, basically always talk fast. You got a lot of things to say, and you got time. Time is money. You can't
get
waste
out,
time.
Get out.
Come on. Get this joint over with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Sure thing.
All right. I hope that clears something up, kind of. Americans, back me up. Yay, nay. Are we? Do you say it Scottish as fast as we do, or do you say it different? Canadians, Germans, like Germans probably say something very different. Kiltenflugenbergen. So, Canadians, Australians.
You speak German. You're not allowed to make a bad joke like that. Anyway, I think it's regional. I really think it's probably a regional thing.
I love the German word for bagpipe is Dudelsack. So, it's a great word. Anyway, let us know how you say it. Do you slow it? Do you say it fast? Could people misinterpret you saying it Scotch? I am curious. Okay.
That's enough.
I'm done.
That's fine.
Done. Fine.
Shh. Let go. Deep breath. Crystal Clue Persuasion. Come on. Okay. Yeah.
Mac, what do we got next?
Well, Jennifer Jordan says that they blame the brand of sticky tape known as Scotch tape because it's stuck.
That is Jennifer Jordan.
Jennifer Jordan.
Woman who gave us this, by the way.
Doesn't mean we have to laugh or joke.
That is a spectacular, as a dad joke connoisseur. That is spectacular. Yes. I wonder if it stuck to some degree because of Scotch tape. For descriptors of Scottish things being Scotch.
Scotch tape is a product from 3M.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Why do they call it Scotch tape?
I don't know.
We'll have to look into that.
While the next segment's going on, I'll do some digging.
Once in a while, we will do some content based on pop culture and cultural appropriation and stereotypes and stuff. So if anybody has ideas of products you'd want us to poke at for these reasons, except for the Lucky Charms leprechaun, we've done that a million times. But let us know. Yeah, Scotch tape.
Indeed. Scotch tape indeed. Madam. Okay. Mac, what do we got?
All right, so we have Remington Maxwell.
Is that a real name or is he a secret agent?
That sounds like
know.
a secret agent name. I was just about to say it.
Well,
Remington Maxwell.
he does say he's a heavy athlete buying used kilts for competition
Right on.
and can't find any in his size. Is it better to get something too big or too small than have the buckle moved or get an extender straps?
For heavies, Highland Games,
Yes, he's Highland athlete.
Too big or too small?
I'd rather go too small. I wouldn't want the extra bulk of extender straps on if I was trying to, throw heavy objects and stuff.
Then but you have to worry about getting a longer strap potentially through the left-hand side, or make some kind of like extender jumper thing over there. What I would rather do, buy a beautiful made kilt from usakilts.com.
He's trying to save some scratch.
Understood.
Now, granted, one really good casual kilt from USA Kilts will last you a lifetime. It's easy to clean and easy to wear. It's lightweight
great for
and
Highland
durable. Great for Highland athletics. You won't need another kilt after that. Trust me. All that being said,
Yes.
I don't know.
Too big or too small?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
If it's a little, like, let's say I'm 50. If it's 48, I'd rather do that and maybe move the buckles and have a little bit more under apron showing. If it's 52, 54, and I'm a 50, it's still fine. You can still move the straps over a little bit. I'd say there's wiggle room. Just like any kilt that we say that we, if somebody once loses or gains weight, I'll make that parallel. The general rule of thumb that I kind of came up with is about 10%. So if you lose 10% of your circumference, so if you're a 50 and you go down to a 45, yeah, you can make it work. If you go up to a 55, yeah, you can make it work, but it's going to be about the extent of where I would adjust it to, up or down 10%.
Yeah. I guess these guys aren't worried about the weight of the kilt, maybe. I think doing a full 8-yard kilt, while very traditional, if I had the option of something lighter, I'd rather go for that. Yeah, just because of the heat and the bulk of it and everything. But,
yeah, and most Highland athletes tend to go for like sport kilts or casual kilts, and things that are lighter weight, machine really washable. You get the pine tar on it, and you can just wash it off, kind of thing. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily stick with wool. Some do. It's fine.
Well, I mean, that said, if he's trying to go for a more authentic feel for his own enjoyment and for looking good on the field, like, I'm not going to fault him for that.
No,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
but yeah, I also say it's probably going to depend on the kilts you're finding. Like, if you find a deal that's too good to pass up, it might happen to be one that's too big, or it might be one that's too small. So, trust your instincts in the moment when you're making the purchase. Like, could I make this work? That's really the broader, more important question than only going for sizes that are large or sizes that are small.
Yeah, but
it's going to be idiosyncratic.
Yeah, 100%, and I would say it would matter to me. Two things would matter to me more than bigger or smaller. One, do I like the tartan? Or two, how far off of my waist is it? There's two that are available, and one is 5% off, and one is 5% higher, and one is 10% lower than my body, than my physical circumference of my waist. Then I would probably go with the 5%. So if it's 50 and it's it's 52 and a half, and then the other one is 45, I'd go with the 52.5. Yeah, I'd go the closest to body measurement, all things being equal on how much you like the tartan.
Yeah, and what condition it's in. If it's a used kilt.
Yeah, that's a fair point too. And length.
Right.
If it's a used
I
kilt.
think length would be more important too.
Yep, absolutely.
Regardless, good luck.
Yes. Cheers.
Yeah.
Happy hunting.
Yeah.
All right.
My turn. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Bear with me on this one. It'll take a while to read. Elliot McFadden says, I'm considering a new kilt jacket, and I'm wondering why navy or charcoal are not more common colors, like they are in Saxon wear. I have a light gray kilt jacket, and it's been my only kilt jacket for like 25 years. Now, he says, I want something a little dressier, but I find the common black Argyle too limiting. I'm thinking navy or charcoal would look almost as dressy, but also be good for day. So what do you say?
Okay.
He has a follow-up question about sporrans, but let's deal with the jacket thing.
Sure. In Highland wear, jackets tend to fall into two material categories. Are there outliers? Sure. But the vast majority of Highland wear jackets tend to either be barathea, mostly black, or wool barathea, or tweed. So it's essentially one of those two. You can get navy barathea. You can get like bottle green or rifle green barathea, which is like darker shades of green. But it's not like suiting wear, Saxon wear kind of jacket.
Yeah, it is. Isn't it?
No, it's like a softer. It's a
little hard. Really?
which?
The barathea.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
it's a finer woven cloth. It's barathea is generally like a 15 ounce, and it's a plain weave. I'm not sure what the weave on like a regular suit jacket kind of thing
I
is.
thought it was very
but
close
it's
to a Saxon wear jacket, personally.
No, it's a little bit lighter weight, and
Is it?
they tend to be now. It's also due to the interfacing, but they tend to be much floppier than Highland wear jackets.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and
All
it's
right.
a little bit lighter weight. Most now the jackets that we get are 15 ounce, and the red barathea that we get is actually 19
That's
ounce.
very heavy.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's very heavy.
And there's two main jacket suppliers in Scotland. And the second jacket supplier that we didn't generally get too much stuff from, their standard is 19 ounce for their jackets.
Okay.
It's a slightly cooler climate, so their jackets tend to be a little bit heavier.
And that would explain the popularity of...
Yes. Now, could you make a kilt jacket, and popularity of tweed, I think is where you're going.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say the word tweed.
Yes, sorry. My brain stopped. It happens often. You have to kick it to restart. So could you make a jacket in just plain navy, or what was the other thing? You said gray?
Yeah, gray
So-
or navy.
Sure. Could you make a jacket in plain gray or plain navy?
You could.
Suit type fabric, let's say like 11 ounce type, material weight in a finer, tighter weave. Yes, sure. It would be custom. It is not mass produced. In my other thought is in Scotland, the jacket or kilts, generally speaking, are, I won't say relegated to formal dress, but they are most often worn for formal dress, whether it's rented or whether it's worn to weddings and those kind of things. So it's not, some people still will wear tweeds and things like that for a more toned down kind of casual type look, but there's not been a call either for the hire or the rental industry over in Scotland for too much suiting fabric to wear with kilts. So I think because there's not that call, jacket manufacturers aren't offering it as an option.
Right.
The call is for tweed or for black barathea, whether that's for a PC, Prince Charlie, or whether it's for an Argyle. But could it be done? Has it been done? Sure. If you said, I really, really want a nice navy blue, 11 ounce lightweight wool fabric for my Argyle jacket, or for a Braemar jacket or something like that. Could it be done? Sure. And I think it, with the right tartan, with the right hose, with brown leather shoes or brown sporran, brown belt, maybe not a belt if they're wearing a sporran, or if they're wearing a vest, or a waistcoat. But yeah, I think it could work. It could be very smart. It could look nice. You could have a sort of a Highland wear suit type crossover for a plainer style jacket.
Like the Wallace jacket.
Yeah, in a more contemporary type fabric. Yeah, it could be done. It's not popular, but it could be done.
Yeah, I think for it feels like it could be a logical adaptation for a warmer climate, like you were saying, how tweeds are kind of the go-to for a lot of day wear and stuff because it's a cooler climate in Scotland. But in this country and in a broader sense, I don't know if the choice of fabric matters so much as the cut of the jacket. That's what's going to identify it as Highland dress as opposed to Saxon dress, is how the jacket is cut and ornamented. If you go for any kind of ornamentation like epaulettes or braiding or buttons, stuff like that. I would not say that it's appropriate, in my personal opinion, for anything semi-formal. Certainly not for formal. Would you get more use out of something like a gray or navy? Yeah. But I was always raised that for a semi-formal thing, you should be wearing, black. Navy is okay for cocktail dress? I mean...
Now, raised versus today.
You come from a rather old-fashioned family
Understood.
in some way.
So it's, I'd say a lot of the rules are broken. If you look at, the trend for tweed jackets and vests for weddings versus a Prince Charlie versus an Argyle, something, fancy or dressier versus people who want to have something a little bit more toned down, a little bit more casual, smart day wear kind of thing.
Right.
Or they want to buy a jacket that they're going to get more use out of. So they'll do a tweed jacket because they can wear it for their wedding and then wear it afterwards to date night, to somebody else's wedding, to church, to whatever. So, yes, I think it could. It's blended. The line is blurred. It's the chalk line on the field that's been kicked around for the first and second half.
And there's definitely cases where, as we point out, Highland dress plays around with a lot more color, even in formal areas, like Montrose doublets, Kenmore doublets are often in like a different color, and sometimes they're in velvet.
Velvet, yeah, I was gonna say.
Freaking green or red or wine or purple velvet, for crying out loud. So maybe I'm worrying about it too much, but yeah, you could do it, and I could definitely see the advantages. Don't do seersucker. Can you imagine a seersucker Argyle jacket? With a nice mint stripes.
I was just going to say, you got to have the stripes, though. Now, we've occasionally been asked for linen.
Linen could be cool.
Yeah, I could.
No pun intended.
I understand. It's difficult.
What about linen on maybe like a Wallace cut?
Yeah.
So something...
It depends on the color of linen.
I agree. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Linen, you can get any color you want.
Yes, but if generally the reason people are looking for linen is because they want something lighter weight for summer.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get a white linen and then you have a lining, you'll be able to see it gets that kind of like see-through-ness
A little bit
to it.
Yeah.
That always bothers me. I don't know.
I used to have a linen jacket I used to wear for Victorian Edwardian for fun, reenactment stuff, and I didn't have that problem.
Okay.
But it's fine because you think that interested in old clothes like I am, I would be all down with seersucker. I hate seersucker. It's just so weird.
He's had a traumatic experience.
It's like you're wearing
seersucker.
a Jiffy mop-up towel, okay? It's just like, I don't know.
Seersucker reminds me of like a 1940s nurse.
Uh-huh.
Like it reminds me of a ward dress. Like that's what it reminds me of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, candy striper kind of thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or on the boat in the Hamptons. Yes. No, I could. Ultimately, I would say yes, you can play with it to a degree. None of these things have broad acceptance because because the manufacturers aren't doing it as a stock supported thing.
Right.
So it becomes custom, which means it's more expensive because it's custom. Therefore, it's different. But if your budget allows it and you want to do something a little bit fun with it, something a little bit different, I think you could, and I think it could look very smart, especially with like a dark tan kind of leather with navy blue or even with gray. That could work real well, especially with guys with a little bit of salt and pepper or white in the beard.
So you go with like brown leathers and a navy Navy Barathea Argyle set with antler buttons.
Yep, and like navy blue hose.
Yeah, that could be
and
really
a
cool.
modern kilt with navy in it to kind of tie it all together.
That'd be gorgeous. I don't consider it evening wear personally, but
yes,
it could be really good.
The material of the jacket would kind of dress it up more than tweed.
Sure.
So it would be a little dressier, in my opinion, kind of thing. But it's still not formal, but it's nicer than. It's smarter than smart day wear, but not formal. It sort of falls in a weird chasm a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Nantucket Red Prince Charlie.
Just throw up my mouth.
That was the idea. Oh, and you could do like a sporran strap that has like the little nautical flags on it, like those horrible belts.
No. Get a super wide. Get one of those belts, but super wide.
And then with a nautical.
Yes, for a kilt belt made in it. Yes, absolutely. Little webbing belt. Here.
Oh my God.
Yes, indeed. Solid color kilt with like
penny loafers,
the
boat shoes.
Yes. Dockers, baby.
I say, Buffy, I think
100%.
I'll wear my Hampton tartan kilt today.
No hose at all. Just barefoot, or no socks, no hose. Just boat shoes. Yes.
And an Aaron sweater around your shoulders and tied in a knot. Big hunk.
Don't do any of that. Please don't.
No, but
send
I
me
want to
photos.
Photoshop the hell out of this now.
He's going to. Damn it. All right,
I say.
Mac.
Well, Daryl is saying that we are completely wrong about seersucker. It's the ultimate casual summer suit. So now I'm picturing.
Well, bless your heart, Daryl.
I'm picturing Daryl wearing an Argyle jacket made out of seersucker with a seersucker kilt to go with it.
Seersucker kilt.
If you're gonna go that, just go all. Push those chips forward.
It's like you're wearing a mop head. It's like you're wearing a disposable mop head or a roll of paper towels. I'm sorry. Daryl, with all due respect, I understand where you're coming from. And I've been tempted by seersucker a couple times if the inset color wasn't so bad. But
The siren song of the seersucker calls.
Man.
I'm thinking Colonel Sanders in a kilt.
But that's white. That's different.
I know.
That's
still with
like a linen
with
idea.
that black, loopity doopity tie that he's got on there. I don't know what the official name for it. Yes.
You used to call it a Sunday go meet and tie, but I don't think that's not the official
Yeah.
name. This is what we used to call it in the Western sphere. But
Fair. Okay. All right.
Daryl and I will have to be meeting up by the magnolias, and we'll sail this like gentlemen.
Duels at dawn. All right, Mac.
Well, there has been a topic of discussion on here that I feel we should bring up, and Carol's the one that started it off. They said,
Careful, Carol.
Rocky, off topic, but you look awesome today.
Aw.
Don't know if it's the red shirt or what. It looks like you lost some weight. Your face looks a little thinner and a little slimmer in the chest.
Thank you. A little slimmer in the belly. Yes, I've been practicing my push-aways. So, yes, I've
Push-aways.
shed...
Oh, I get it.
Yes, push away from the table. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's an old dad joke from my high school girlfriend's dad. Yes. Yep. I am healthy. It is not a bad weight loss, and so I'm down a few pounds. And I decided to really mess with the crew behind the camera over there. I was going to wear a red shirt today, so they're going to have a nightmare trying to color correct this video in post. So I want to see, I'm putting them to the task. I'm challenging them to get it right. So indeed, that's my
They're
that's
all
my
here
job
just
for today.
like, yeah, great,
Just like, you
whatever.
What? So, okay.
Well,
But
congrats.
cheers. Thank you.
You look good. You
Thank
look
you.
good. You know,
Thank
you
you.
look good.
Thank you.
Very healthy. Yeah,
Yeah.
very good.
Indeed. All right, Mac.
All right, so we have
She wants your bod.
almost.
Almost got him.
Close.
Almost got
Close.
him.
Kelly, you got competition from Carol. Tried to get Eric. Damn.
So we have JF73F asking, how do you suggest riding a Harley on a freeway in a kilt? I've done it. It didn't go well.
Well, I think you got your answer right there.
I'd say carefully or not at all. We've actually discussed riding a motorcycle in a kilt on occasion.
Yeah.
I have one horror story which I will recount that was relayed to me. A guy came up to us at Celtic Classic, and brought us a kilt. He had a casual kilt that he wore on his bike, and it literally had a rip about 4 inches up from the bottom, and then a long horizontal rip where the back. And he asked us if we can repair it, and I was just like, you ripped off like most of the bottom 4 inches of your kilt for 4 feet of the kilt. No. And basically what he said was he was riding his motorcycle in a kilt, and it got caught on the back wheel, and it just ripped up and then ripped straight across, and just destroyed his kilt. And Mac, were you there for that discussion? This is years ago.
Yeah,
in Classic.
no, I don't remember this one.
I think he said he ended up laying the bike down. So, not a great scenario. We've had, this is a weird, heated debate where, certain guys who ride cycles or ride bikes have said no, I ride a kilt and a bike. It's fine. You just have to kind of tuck it underneath you, and they pull the kilt, pull the back between the legs, and make sure it's all tucked in nicely before you get on the bike. And then there's others who are like, hell no, you don't wear a motorcycle or a kilt on a motorcycle. It's you plan for the crash. You don't wear, you wear rash guard, you have the jacket, everything. There's a reason why you wear protective gear on a motorcycle. My father, rest his soul, was a personal injury attorney, and he said to me when I, started making noise about wanting a motorcycle in my late teens, he said there are 2 types of motorcycle accidents: serious and deadly. That's it. Nope, you don't get a motorcycle. So I've never had one, even though I've wanted one. But that point kind of carries through here. If a kilt will not protect you, even a leather utility kilt will not protect you during a crash. So if it were me, I would not wear a kilt on a motorcycle for safety reasons, and for screwing up the kilt reasons. The airflow is probably very nice, but I wouldn't necessarily do it. But there are those who ride Harleys who will absolutely disagree with me.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like, helmet versus not helmet, maybe. Yeah. But I have lots of images in our archive of guys riding kilted. But I think a lot of them are like in the city, especially the ones in Scotland. It's like people going to an event and it's city riding and they're not going that far. I don't know, man. I mean, can't really advise, but I can tell you that the people who do it advise, like you said, they do a lot of tucking. They make sure that I don't know what they do with the sporran per se, but they tend to basically tuck the fabric around their legs, and they take the aprons and tuck them under their crotch as they sit down on the bike so it doesn't fly up. Which is funny because utility kilts years and years ago, they had the mock commercials.
Yep.
And one of the winning entries was this guy he did a video of himself riding on a motorcycle and wearing a utility kilt, and he's just waving at everybody, and you can see the hem of the kilt flying up like this in his face, and all the shots are from here up. He's like, hi, and all this on the sidewalk. Very funny.
Yeah.
But so you want to avoid that.
You should avoid that.
I know other people who will they'll wear jeans or something, and assuming the bike has cargo capacity, like you got the containers on the back, the saddlebags or whatever. Then you just change in the kilt when you get there. So,
yep.
Yeah. Do be careful.
Yep. That's what I would say.
That's all I'd say.
Mac, do you have any input, or are you just looking tough?
No, there's a couple people that said about saddlebags.
Yeah.
And just rolling the kilt up in a kilt roll and put it in saddlebags is the best. But most people on here are, you plan for the slide, not the ride. So.
Thank you. That was the phrase I was looking for.
Ride.
Yep.
Yeah.
Plan for the slide, not the ride. Yep.
Yep.
Indeed. Cool. Cheers. Good luck. Godspeed. Don't crash.
Don't die. You're no good to us, dead.
He's no good to me, dead.
All right. Okay. This is an interesting one.
All the others completely uninteresting.
Yeah.
This one, good question.
Just as a quick programming note, we do not have an ambassador segment this week, so we're just going to keep rolling with these questions, and that's just as well because this one's probably going to take a while. The infamous Chugwater Jack said, what effect, positive, negative, etc., more people interested in kilts, less people interested, total effects have Pakistani cheap products had on the Scottish tartan and kilt industry?
Okay.
Okay.
So, how has the Scottish tartan industry, we'll broaden it to Highland wear industry.
Correct.
Because Pakistan makes more than just sporrans, or makes more than just kilts.
Yep.
What effect has it had? I've spoken to many of our suppliers about this across the board. I have kind of very mixed feelings on it. Now, we don't sell any Highland wear products that are made in Pakistan, made in China, stuff like that. Everything that we make or we have made or make ourselves is either made in the U.S., Canada. Well, anything in Canada anymore?
Not anything in Canada right now.
Not anymore, yeah. U.S., Scotland,
Ireland.
England, Ireland, kind of Wales. That
The
stuff.
UK.
Yeah, the UK. And Ireland. The Republic. So there's two sides to the coin. Here's my gut feel on it, because some suppliers will say, like, oh, it's the scourge of the industry and everything is horrible, and then other people will be like, no, it's fine because it gets people into wearing kilts. So it's kind of like, it depends on your outlook on almost on life. Is there enough room for everybody in the market, or is it destroying the market? Is it destroying, and I guess that's something different. Is it destroying the culture and cheapening it?
That's a different question, but
it's a different question.
Potentially related.
Yes,
yeah.
Tangential at best.
He did touch on that with it, has it resulted in more people getting into kilts?
That's kind of, yeah. So that's the two-sided coin. Myself personally, I have never owned a Pakistani kilt. I have never owned a Pakistani sporran. However, to some degree, there's a, I won't say need for it, but there's a use for it. Here's my gut. This is me, only me, my opinion, my gut on the issue. In the mid 1990s, with the kilt hire boom in Scotland, with the Braveheart effect, with a resurgence in Scottish pride, with more and more people wanting to wear the kilt, the whole industry experienced a boom. With that boom came imitators. With that boom of, everything kind of picking up, came people saying, like, well, we could make, kilts are, let's say at the time, let's say a kilt cost, $300 or $400 for a hand-sewed 8-yard kilt back in 1995. Well, we could make something on a machine much, much cheaper and get it out there. And so the people that can't afford a $400 kilt or a $350 kilt can afford one of ours. So it was kind of an influx into the market at the same time as the market was going up. So the market went up, and then there was a boom in Scotland of, yes, this is all great. And then came in the cheaper kilts. So if you were in the market pre-boom, you would probably be like, okay, well, fine, there's room for a bit more, because, it's watering down the market to some degree, but there's enough room. And not everyone is going to be able to afford a nice hand-sewn 8-yard wool kilt. But if you're getting into the market around that time, and then you see the bottom half of the market go to the cheaper stuff, then you would probably feel more of a pinch in that way. It depends on where you come in and how you notice it at the same time. So I don't know. There's a weird effect, and it sort of depends on your outlook. If you are what did I say during a session, during a depression? Very, very exclusive high-end brands will always survive. There will always be a market for, Gautier, for Louis Vuitton. There will always be a very high-end market because it's already a select audience. If you're looking at a $50 purse, you're not going to buy a Louis Vuitton purse, because you were never going to buy more than a $50 purse. If budget is your concern, you're never going to look at a $6,000 purse. It's never going to be a thing. So at least you can have something and get into the market now, but I shouldn't say never, because people who buy a $50, kilt, I'll go back to kilts now. People who buy a $50 kilt may end up saying, well, this is my starter kilt. This is just to see if I like it. And then they say, okay, well, I've worn it a few times. I like it. And I've been out with guys wearing nicer kilts or wearing wool kilts or wearing hand-sewn kilts. Maybe I'll get a little bit nicer kilt for my next one. Maybe since I am wearing it, since I have decided that this is something I like to do for dressing up, maybe I'll get a nice kilt for my wedding. Maybe I'll get a nice kilt for formal events and that kind of things. And you kind of walk yourself up the price ladder. The more confident you become in wearing your kilt, the more you find that you're actually wearing the thing, the more events you wear it to, the more you kind of walk your way up. So it's a good, to some degree, it could be a good starter drug, if you will. It's you get them hooked.
Gateway.
Exactly, a gateway
Yeah.
drug, yeah. So I absolutely see both sides of the coin, where it could be seen as a way to get into it, but coming at it from the other angle, you could see it as hollowing out the culture, hollowing out the market, or hurting traditional kilt makers. But looking at it from a sort of third way of the market way, it's a kind of a balance with a certain amount of upper end, a certain amount of lower end is just the natural order of things. And maybe there was just too many upper end kilt makers. So when the cheaper ones came in, some of the lower end, lower upper middle kilt makers went away, and those people, that money transferred to the lower end. I don't know. It's market correction.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. Is like I think it depends on how much of an impact it's having. Might depend on what number of established manufacturers in Scotland or wherever can survive the loss of revenue, or do they wind up one goes under and gets bought out by another, so you have a consolidation of the makers at the top end, or something like that, which could have a deleterious effect in terms of then you have a monopoly. I don't know on the good stuff, but I don't know. It's I definitely see the gateway drug factor. I do see a lot of people who start off with something cheap, especially if they are not sure if they're going to do this or if they're going to be accepted in their community if they do it, or they just want it for a costume for a Ren Fair or for Halloween, and they're just starting like, well, they're rationalizing that, like, well, I can get away with it for this occasion at least, and then once they get used to wearing it and they get some positive reactions, then they start getting involved and they decide they want something better. Other people never get to that point. They only wear it occasionally. But I think, as you've pointed out, they probably are not the people who would be interested in buying a better quality thing anyway. They're more likely to go and spend their money on something else to add to the whole kit. Like, again, thinking about the Ren Fair people, and it's like, you get the cheap kilt. Okay, I got a kilt, but I don't have a broadsword yet. I'm going to buy a broadsword now. You see what I mean? It's like you'll see somebody. I've seen many people at festivals and like Celtic Classic wearing like a really cheap bad kilt, and then other parts of the outfit actually look good or cool. It's like, okay, so you got the kilt first, and then you went and bought this at another time, clearly, so, but why would I get another kilt? I already have one. Yeah. Is an attitude with a lot of them. So,
or they upgrade piecemeal.
Yeah.
And that goes for, and we're talking about kilt for the most part, but it goes across the market. There's companies that make, in companies in Pakistan that make kilts, or belts and buckles and sporrans and all the rest of it. The thing that grinds my gears, the only thing that annoys me per se, not the only, but the main thing that annoys me about specifically Pakistani kilt makers or suppliers is when they rip off other designs. And well, frankly, here, let me expand it. Anyone who rips off other people's designs.
Right.
Glenesk is a supplier, Graham, wonderful human being. Great guy. He's over in England. He has buckles, and they have been knocked off countless times over the years. So that's the difficult part, is coming up with new and original ideas only to have them ripped off. That's the demoralizing part. That's the part that, like, it hurts.
Because you just have to keep running to stay ahead of them, because eventually they're going to steal your design.
Yeah. That's the part that hurts, is when you're stealing art from an artist, essentially, and saying, well, hey, great, look, I'm just going to recast this thing, haha, and it's a $10 buckle based on a $35 buckle.
Yeah.
That's where it's a question of morals to me, not just, is it okay to have cheaper stuff?
Well, yeah, I mean, the ethics of it is a whole nother can of worms, because then you get into the whole
morals,
Yeah, I mean, and like, do you consider it proper representational national? If you're Scottish, and you consider that you're very invested in this being proper national dress for special occasions, are you not paying it proper respect on a ethical or intellectual level if you buy the cheap imports, because you're not supporting the people who are making the culture that you are supporting?
These are big questions.
Which we won't get into now. But stay tuned for haggis hunting, our podcast show, where we talk about these things. But I think it's definitely a double-edged sword, because has it gotten more people into kilts? Absolutely, it has definitely gotten the population of kilt wearers larger, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It got me not Pakistani stuff, but cheaper kilts got me into wearing kilts. I bought a cheap sport kilt and a cheap America kilt as my first 2 kilts, just to try them out, back in 2003. And then I figured, hey, I can make these, and started playing around with it and got better and better in our own craft. That now we're making from the lower end all the way to the higher end. So there is something to be said for the argument of starting at the lower end and you just kind of work your way up. Not everyone does that. Some people start at the lower end and then they're like, nope, it's fun, or I would prefer quantity over quality. So they just keep buying less expensive kilts. And then there's others who will be like, nope, I want 1 or 2 or 27 really, really nice wool kilts, and I'm just going to stick up here because I appreciate the quality and or I love wool more or whatever. So there's different horses for different courses. There's different ways to come at it. Ultimately, I think I'll sum it up by saying this. I think it's probably a net positive. It's probably done more good for the industry than more bad for sales and for manufacturers. I won't say what it's done net positive or negative for the culture or for traditional Highland wear or for, those kind of things, but for sales of Highland wear stuff and supporting manufacturers, I would think it's a net positive. I mean, when I speak to Loch Heron or House of Edgar, or Strathmore being constantly out of stock of all their tartans, don't get me started. There's plenty of work for the mills in Scotland right now.
Okay.
Or the UK. There's no want for business right now in wearing kilts, period. So it's obviously not killed any of the mills. So in that way, the proof is in the pudding. So it's because the mills are alive, the mills are thriving, they're doing well. I would say it's not been that big of a detriment.
Okay.
Indeed. That's my empirical
Let us know what you
evidence.
think.
Yes. All right. Mr. Mack.
All right. So we have Lindsay on the TikToks. Hopefully Lindsay's still watching us on the TikToks.
Yay.
She says, love your content, guys. What made you both so enthusiastic about Scotland and the national dress?
How long have we got?
Yeah. A fever dream. In my, when I started the company back in my mid-20s, I just decided I wanted to wear a kilt, went out and wore kilts, and then started figuring, okay, I could make this. And then, I could start selling these because a lot of people are asking me about these, and just got obsessed with everything about it. I probably wouldn't be able to have the same obsessions and level of commitment to the research process that I did way back then now if I were to start over. But it's kind of, I don't know, a weird, passion that I just, took hold of me, and just kind of jumped in with both feet and just like a sponge soaked up every single thing I could about the culture, about kilt making, about Highland wear, about all of it. And it's just kind of a flame that hasn't gone out. What is your passion for this? Where does that come from?
Well, let me tell you. Long time ago now. I think it comes from two directions. I often say that I kind of fell in love with kilts first, but that's actually a more recent development. I basically started thinking kilts were awesome on a fashion level and this is badass level with the movie Rob Roy.
Okay.
Liam Neeson, not Braveheart. Rob Roy. Far better movie in my opinion. And the whole romance of Highland culture and the Highland Rogue and all that kind of stuff kind of caught my imagination way back then. And I got into kilts as a modern, kind of a more rock and roll, rebellious fashion thing a few years after that with utility kilts. But the culture in general goes back to the fact that I was raised with some of it without even realizing it. Like my dad would recite the Selkirk Grace every year at Christmas and Thanksgiving. He would quote Robbie Burns, on a regular basis. I grew up with old movies like the old Dungadin movie and stuff like that, and see these British Army guys in kilts marching off with bagpipes, and it was like it's freaking cool, and World War II movies and stuff like that, where my dad and my mom had British friends. My mom especially had very strong British roots, and it was just kind of always in the air in my house, basically the especially the Victorian version of stuff. So I had an appreciation of it from that standpoint, and just kind of like all the pieces kind of fell into place maybe 25 years ago. It was kind of like click, 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 and it was like, oh, this is all this, and it comes from this, and so it's like an eating peanuts kind of a thing after that.
Mm-hmm. And you come to it from a bit more of a history nerd type angle than I do.
That's what I say. It's like
still
parallel streams, like the rock and roll kilter badass on their own, and then the history stream, and then they converged, especially after I started working here.
Yeah.
But
there's no right or wrong way to get into it. It's just there's 1,000 different ways to get into any passion project, whether it's crocheting, whether it's riding motorcycles, whether it's whatever it is. There's 100. Those two things go together often.
Crocheting while riding motorcycles.
Exactly. At the same time. Exactly.
Get your needles humming. Crochet on the highway.
Wearing a kilt that's see-through. Crocheted. It's my way. I don't know. No, stop me. I mixed three things there, but no, it's any passion project. What's the spark for any of it? A lot of it, like Erik was kind of alluding to, starts in your much younger years when you kind of all that stuff starts in the home. It's the things that you grew up with. It's the culture you're exposed to. That's why it's so important to let your kids experience your cultural heritage when they're in the home. Experience, the foods, the smells, the sounds, the music of your family's cultural heritage. If there's festivals with it, take them to the festivals.
Yep.
Doing that stuff when they are young you're planting seeds that will sprout, generally speaking, in their 20s. When your parents start to grow old, when your grandparents start to die, when you start to realize, hey, people are immortal. Hey, I miss those stories. Hey, I wish I knew this one thing and I can't ask grandmom anymore because she passed on. It's when all of that starts to hit you, that's when those seeds start to sprout. And that's when people really get excited about this stuff. So, yes.
Yeah. If you're coming at it from a heritage standpoint,
correct.
There's plenty of people who are into this stuff who do not have a direct connection to the culture. They just fall in love with it because it's awesome.
Yeah.
Just like I have friends who are Japanophiles. They just got into it like maybe through karate class when they were kids and stuff, and it's just like it snowballs. And then next thing you know, you're learning Japanese, and next thing you know, you're a sword specialist. Like my one friend who lives in Thailand right now, who's he's very high ranking in. Is it Iaido, I think.
Sword stuff.
Drawing the sword and cutting with it. So nice. It kind of snowballs. So.
Yeah, you find what lights you on fire, and then you run into it. Burning the entire way. Singeing all the hair on your body. Yes. 3rd-degree burns, head to toe. That's how you do it.
Gnarly.
Indeed. All right. Mr. Erik?
That's a fun question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Okay. Eugene Fitzpatrick. Let's talk about symbolic tartans. Is it becoming a trend to base tartan colors off of clan arms, crests, national flags, or other symbols? That is, versus more traditional tartans, which have no such coordinations. What are some good examples of symbolic tartans? So I think they've kind of already answered the question. The fact that old tartans did not have any correlation to like heraldic color or anything like that.
Correct.
But nowadays they definitely associations all over the place.
I would say that it's been done like occasionally by individuals, but I would not say that any, broadly speaking, I would not say clan tartans or many tartans are based off of heraldic symbols or off of the coat of arms and that kind of thing. That's a whole different can of worms as far as coat of arms thing. Now, tartans with symbolism, meaning the thread count, the numbers that are involved and the colors that are involved, yes, that has absolutely taken off in the last 50 to 100 years, 50 to 75 years, and really in the past 20 or so years. Yes, the one thing that I often quote is the first example, and it may have been ascribed after the fact, but the first tartan that I'm aware of that is recorded with color symbolism within the description is the Nova Scotia tartan designed in 1953. Now, in my discussions with Brian Wilton from the Scottish Tartans Authority, we kind of discussed that it may have been ascribed after the fact, some of the symbolism, or it may have been, up front. We do not know. But tartans including symbolism in the meaning is a more recent thing than most clan tartans, which are, 1800s kind of time frame.
Or earlier, yeah.
Yeah, some earlier, some, mid 1800s.
I like that one.
Yep.
Okay.
But
that's yours now.
Yeah, in my opinion, the symbolism is kind of just the evolution, the obvious next step. So tartans kind of started out, there's a murky origin story of tartans. It was not documented necessarily at the time of how they kind of came to being, how they came to represent clans, the first original tartans. But it was kind of really originally, the best guess is, like that one, that's going to be mine. And then that kind of evolved into clan tartans, and with King George in the the 1820 parade going into Scotland. Not the parade didn't go into Scotland. The parade was in Scotland. The clan tartans kind of evolved from that, and then the symbol became of the family or of the clan. Then there was kind of that for a long time, and then you started in the 1900s getting tartans to represent things or national tartans or things like that. And then later on, with the national tartans, for some of them, became flag colors. We'll include that for the symbols of the tartans, like the Irish national tartan in 1995 was, based on the flag colors of Ireland. And the ones that have kind of stuck around or really, tug at the heartstrings a bit are the tartans that have a story to them. You sell the sizzle, not the steak kind of mentality. So if there's reasoning to it, if there's rationale, if there's a story to go along with a thing, it means more than just that one's pretty. I like that one. So it's kind of, as I was saying, it's the evolution of it. Humans want to find meanings in things. We want to connect with things on a deeper level. So I can connect with my clan tartan based on my family, and there's a certain heritage and history to this clan tartan, this clan design. But if there's other meanings, that would be cool too. So we want to find deeper and more symbolism in things, which is why the tartans that have, that are more universal tartans or more current tartans that have symbolism built into them, those are the ones that'll stick around for longer versus that one's pretty. Thoughts?
Uh,
He agrees 100%. I am not more.
yeah.
No more words need to be said.
I would say actually it's the default now. There's an assumption now, which we sometimes have to dissuade people of, that a tartan will have meaning behind the colors, behind the thread count. And people ask us, well, what is the meaning behind the MacLeod of Lewis tartan being yellow? And it's like, I don't know.
It was yellow.
Yeah, it was yellow. You like yellow. But when you design a tartan, almost invariably people will be basing their choices on some kind of symbolism or perceived symbolism or their personal impression, of what it reminds them of. It can be something like the natural landscape is my favorite example with Isle of Skye. The woman who designed that was basing it on colors and stuff that she experienced there. So it's become the way you do it, for better or for worse. The exception being, I think there are designers out there who will design tartans purely for the colorway, usually because they're integrating it into something else. Vivienne Westwood is the best example of that. She, bless her soul, designed a bunch of different tartans, and it was pretty much mostly because, okay, I need a tartan with this color and this set size because I'm going to use it for this outfit I'm designing.
Did she design tartans?
She did.
Okay.
She did, in fact.
I know she used clan tartans,
She
like
used-
Bruce Canard is a huge one that she used.
She
but-
used clan tartans, but if
Yeah.
you look in the registry, you'll find there are tartans that she designed as well.
Interesting.
Yep.
I was not
Yep.
aware of
Or
that.
that were designed for her. She commissioned people to do it for her.
Yeah.
But that's using the tartan as a part of a larger project, as opposed to, I want this tartan to exist for its own sake. And when people want to do that, and they want to have it exist for its own sake, there's usually some kind of symbolism or a mental process behind the design.
Yeah.
Like, why did you use red for Firefighters Memorial?
Yeah, indeed. The now, I had a point. Now I forget entirely what my point was. You threw me off with the Firefighter Memorial. Flag colors is a big one. A lot of people with national tartans will try to incorporate flag colors into the designs. When I did the German heritage design, it's on the nose. It works, but it's on the nose, but it's also limiting. So when we did the Nordic heritage tartan, we included the flag colors of the Nordic countries, but we didn't feel like we wanted to just do those colors or
Right.
be an exact shade of blue to match this
They-
flag.
yeah.
It's we wanted to have different colors and incorporate other symbolism into it. When we did the American Dream tartan, we included red, white, and blue, but it was different shades of 3 different shades of red and 3 different shades of blue. So it's the playing within it and incorporating other colors or doing things in different ways that can keep the symbolism, but add more color diversity and fun within the design without kind of tying your hand behind your back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. If you want it to be immediately recognizable by other people who are into the same thing you're into, then you're more likely to be on the nose with the colors, aka a flag tartan. But if you're trying to be more artistic with it or more subtle with the group recognition, then you're going to play around more. Yeah.
Agreed. All right. Mac, Erik, me.
What?
Our one favorite, you can pick one, your most favorite universal design with symbolism within it.
Tartan, you mean?
Tartan. There you go. Sorry.
Oh, jeez.
This would include, let's say, Irish counties.
Okay, but I can't say Nordic heritage.
You can.
Okay, then I say Nordic heritage.
Okay.
I'll come up with another one just for fun.
You can pick ours or you can pick somebody else's. I don't care. I mean, world is your oyster.
Oh.
Max over there looking up different tartans.
No, I'm actually responding to a comment here real quick.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's ignoring you.
Look at him working. Okay.
Well, what's yours?
I'm going to break my own rule before I even start. I love Isle of Skye for the colors.
Why?
It's not my favorite tartan now. I'm narrowing it down. I'm going through my thought process. I love Isle of Skye for the colors. There's several of the Irish county ones that I think go very well. But again, they're not like there's not a lot of symbolism within the colors. It's just they're for like the soft rolling hills. We spent I'm going to end up with one of ours because the amount of time and effort we put into the designs, and they're also the most recent two. I'll say because the Nordic heritage hasn't been woven and I don't have it in my hands yet to tell me that I love it as much as I think I'm going to. I'll go with American Dream. We spent a lot of time crafting the story around it and trying to make it feel good.
Okay, what about one that you did not design?
Oh, that's more difficult. I'm biased because I like my own designs.
That's the point of the challenge. So.
No, it's not. I said the thing. I didn't.
No, this is a new
challenge.
challenge. This is a new challenge.
Okay.
Tartan you did not design.
All right, now I got to think. So you got to go first then, because I got to think.
I got two. My favorite, really, really on the nose one would be Cornish hunting.
Okay.
It's so obnoxious, but
you are obnoxious. That does fit.
Thank you. But you always know it's Cornish. My more elegant one would be Texas Bluebonnet. Top that. Huh.
So you're saying these are only tartans that have symbolism
Yes.
Tartans that
Universal
we know
tartans that
were
have
designed with the symbolism in mind. I think is probably the way to put it. I am designing this tartan to represent this thing, therefore I'm incorporating colors and stuff to make it represent this thing with intent.
Oh, damn it. This is hard.
I just thought of another one.
Tartans. What's the other one?
Aurelia.
It's not really.
It's not as on the nose.
symbolism, Yeah.
Well, it's the feel. But
Yeah.
So like I'm just going through like all the Irish county crest in my head.
Okay.
Because I
Crest
take
Kildare?
the crest one's different than
Yes.
the other ones in this situation.
Okay. I'll agree with that.
Kildare. It's my favorite out of those, I think.
I hate that I can't pick my own.
See,
We got him, Mac.
I
We finally
agree
got him.
with you on the American Dream. Now, if I would take American Dream out of the equation, I have to think of something other than that's not that new. I almost kind of go, and I don't have this one.
Okay.
Would be the Ulster crest that we did.
Okay.
We did that for.
But it's one that we did.
I know that's
Do it.
one we did.
All right. I got mine. While you're thinking, I'm going to go with the official Pennsylvania tartan.
Okay.
Because
That's a really good choice.
it was based on Black Watch. I'm trying to remember the reasoning in it, but it was based on the Black Watch tartan for the Black Watch that were like stationed here or something. Some battle in Pennsylvania had Black Watch in it. Yeah, there's a bunch of
Brandywine,
rationale and
maybe?
stuff. I forget.
Okay.
I'm not that good.
But I know you had like the green for the forests and the blue for the two rivers and
No.
No?
There wasn't
do
that
that?
much symbolism within it. No.
Oh, okay.
But it was just it was based on Black Watch for that, and it's the officially Hanukkah Donukkah blessed Pennsylvania state tartan.
okay.
Yes. All right, Mac.
So
did
we
you
do
yours
have
yet?
here's some other
Okay.
ones coming from the crowd.
Okay.
Earthrise,
Okay.
which I do
Yep.
think that is a
Yep,
is
that's
a
a
very
very good
unique
example.
neat
Okay.
one. Maine State tartan.
Okay.
Somebody did put the Shrek tartan.
Hey now.
I don't think he changed his name for this. And a couple people put the K&C.
Thank you. Thank you for saying what I'm not allowing. He's not allowing me to say, which is kilts and culture. Damn good looking tartan.
But I see. I was expecting you were trying to go with something that's really on the nose, like this color represents this and that color represents that, and blah 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 blah.
It all represents
So-
friendship.
Okay, fine.
But see, I think in to me, like some of those, like the firefighter memorial, like that hits like a particular
Yep. And that was
tone. So it's like
very intense.
it's almost like
intentionally
certain
symbolic.
tones, like even like I would even say the continue tartan in that fact hits that tone. So it's like a weird. like they might not be my favorite one, but they hit a certain note type thing.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I mean, continue. It is totally the color choices were totally based on symbolic representation. So yeah,
Indeed. So, let us know which your favorite ones are out there. Indeed.
yeah.
Yes, quite.
That
All right, was that you or is that us?
was us.
Okay, you back there.
So we have Wolf Warden, which I believe this question did come in from the TikToks.
Whoop, whoop.
Cool.
Or not the Twitches.
Twitch.
It was a Twitch question. Do you have any suggestions for customers, and he put in parentheses, willing to pay, that love limited run tartans, like the Alaska State Seal or Scruffy Wallace, that aren't currently available?
Funny you mentioned that.
That's weirdly funny you mentioned that. A lady reached out to Scruffy, Josh, from who was the ex-bagpiper from Dropkick Murphys. So if you're watching this live right now, or in the next 2 days, get in touch with us on the Scruffy Wallace tartan, because she needs like 30 yards of it, and I talked to Josh, he needs a few yards of it. So we're going to be probably putting together a custom run for the Scruffy Wallace tartan very, very shortly. Like
In wool.
To be yes. Yeah. Like Monday or Tuesday of next week will probably happen. What was the rest of your question, Mac? What's the...
What are suggestions for someone that likes those and would want to try to get a run together?
Sure.
Well, I think we know that go ahead.
Yeah. I would say, give us a call or put a feeler out there's a bunch of different kilt groups on Facebook. So put some feelers out on social media, in kilt related groups, or ask your regular family if you want to, who cares? But hey, I want to get together a group order for this particular tartan. Is anyone else interested in this particular one? First thing I would check is make sure that, sorry, my nose is itching with allergies now. Make sure that the tartan is not restricted. And if it is restricted, make sure you're getting the permission, or you talk to the person who actually designed the tartan to make sure that they will let you do a custom run of it. Short story. The gent that did the Relia tartan, Scott, what was his last name? Scott, shoot, I forget his last name. Anyway, we did I've done 2 runs of the Relia tartan, years ago, and there was a bunch of people asking about it, and I was under the complete misinformation that he had passed away. So I was going to do another run of the Relia tartan and had a bunch of people interested and made an announcement and, tried to, verify that, he was no longer with us. And, figured, okay, well, he's not. So we got permission from the register and just said, okay, well, let's do this tartan again. And then he reached out to us, not from beyond the grave, mind you, and said like, hey, that's my design. And I was like, oh my God. And then I had a very, very odd conversation where I had to explain to him that I thought he was dead. And he ended up, I said, look, if you don't want me to do it, I'll stop right now. I'll refund everybody. We will not do this. I am very, very sorry. And I had to eat crow. But he said, no, it's fine. I'll let you do one run. Let's just do it. So yes, point is, don't assume someone's dead. You don't have to necessarily get the death certificate, but maybe do a little bit more research. Yes, but make sure that the tartan you want to do a custom run in is available to do a custom run, and if it's not, speak to the designer, and then try to drum up some interest and ask people in different kilt groups, hey, who's interested in doing this? And then I would say contact a reputable kilt vendor. Anyone in particular of? Anyway, contact somebody and say, hey, we want to put together a group run of this thing. Can you help me quarterback it? A lot of times kilt makers will have dealt with mills and either A, get a better price on the cloth, or B, understand the process of getting something custom done, and then you just kind of go forward from there.
Yep.
That.
Basically, critical mass is the thing. Drumming up the interest is the main thing.
Yep. Drumming up interest and critical mass to make sure that the price comes down. Anything can be done as a one-off. If you said, hey, I want the Scruffy Wallace tartan and I just want enough for just me for just one kilt, sure. Like, I have permission to have it woven since I designed it and Josh gives me carte blanche to do what I want. So yeah, I can have one kilt woven, but it's going to be, $1,300 for the one
really
kilt.
Expensive kilt.
Because it's just a custom weave for one person. Now, if you get together about 30 meters, you're 32 yards worth of cloth, then the price comes down to a slightly more manageable number. If you get a whole lot of people, then it comes down to like regular price essentially. So, yep, the more people you get involved, the more reasonable the whole thing is cost-wise.
That's it.
Yep, that's it. Cool. Hope that helps. All right. What do we got preloaded over there?
Yeah, you want to do that one?
I can't read from this far. I don't have my glasses on.
This is a techie one, home hack one. Jason Dugan said, I've started loosely folding the right side of my kilts, right past where the buckles are, over on themselves so that they can fit better on the hangers and fit inside my wardrobe better. Would doing this cause any damage over time?
Okay.
Just kind of scrunching up, refolding, or he's going like,
Sure.
yeah.
When we're going to talk about our kilt hangers here. So we have kilt hangers that are 20 inches wide with 4 clips across the bottom. When I fold kilts to put them in my closet, I will fold them in thirds like I'm wearing it and then clip it across the back, Bob's your uncle. And I'll leave the straps, the 2 straps on the right-hand side, kind of sticking out off the right-hand side of the hanger. What he's saying is that he can't close the closet doors, or the straps end up banging in the closet doors, so he kind of twists the kilt. So instead of being in exact thirds, he kind of, twists it over a little bit so that the straps are here and the front apron is folded a third of the way in maybe, and then the pleats are kind of folded in a little bit in the back. And will that hurt the kilt over time? No, it's not going to hurt the kilt. You can fold it at different ways. There are different ways to store your kilts. But I've found that way, or something very similar to that, is the best way to do it. When we designed our kilt hangers, I know more about closet construction and hanger construction than I care to admit. Most closets, current day closets, not walk-in closets, or walk-in closets too, but most current day closets have the bar essentially 12 inches from the back wall of the closet. What that means is a kilt hanger with 20 inches across with the hook in the center, 10 inches to the back of the closet, it will fit in there fine. Some older closets and older houses will have the bar essentially 10 inches from the back of the closet. That's why we stuck with a 20-inch kilt hanger and didn't go to a 22-inch kilt hanger. Now, where it can get a little bit tricky is if you're a gent with a waist bigger than, let's say, 40. If you have a 44, 50-inch waist, you have a little bit more kilt, if you fold it in thirds, hanging out beyond the end of the 20-inch hanger. And that can be difficult to put into a closet because that is going to hit the back wall of the closet or hit the door as it closes, especially if you have a thinner closet. In that instance, what we tell people to do is one of two things. Well, no, what we tell people to do for that, if it's a thinner closet, is instead of folding the kilt in thirds like you're wearing it, under apron, over apron, and then the pleats across the back, is take the kilt and fold it in quarters. So take the straps, the 2 straps that are by the fringe and the 1 strap on the under apron, and touch them together and fold it straight across, so you're actually creasing in the center of what would be the center of the back, right between the belt loops on the back of the kilt. And then take that and fold it in half again. And then that way you can use the 4 clips across 4 sections of your kilt, not 3 sections, and that will keep it a little bit narrower within the closet as well. Mm-hmm. So either one of those won't really hurt the kilt. I'm not concerned about it. And when you wear the kilt out, even if you let's say you had some little bit of sagging or some little bit of splaying, depending on the way it was hung in the closet or whatever. When you wear the kilt out for a day and your body heat warms it up and warms up the wool, or your sweat gets into the wool a little bit, it's actually going to mold it back to your body a little bit. So I don't think it would be a problem. Do you have any thoughts on that? Or is that a pretty complete?
No, that's pretty good.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. Mac, do you have any thoughts on it? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
All right.
Nah.
Very good. That's my entire answer for all of us. Indeed. Hope that helps. All right. Mr. Mac.
All right. So we have Mike asking, how do you prevent tassels on a Glengarry from fraying? And how do you care for them after they've frayed?
Tassels on a like the ribbon in the back?
I'm assuming he means the ribbon in the back, yeah.
Yeah. What is grosgrain ribbon made of? Is it a poly or is it a cotton?
It's usually I would say it's a poly at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably nylon originally.
Yeah. Potentially.
Or rayon.
Cotton.
Rayon.
Well,
Yeah,
cotton
sure.
originally.
Originally, but
If it is a synthetic fabric, what I would do, and I'm maybe a little bit more daring than some, if it really, really bothers you and it's a synthetic fabric, I would carefully take your scissors and recut the edge so that it is a straight, clean edge, and cut off the frayed bits. Then I would take a lighter and I would just run it across and kind of melt the very, very tips of it and, melt the very, very edge of it carefully. Not much, not a lot. That's why I'm saying cut all the fringy bits off so you don't get those big black balls of plastic. But I would trim all that off and then just give it a real light run with a lighter.
Yeah.
Option B, if that scares you, maybe sew it and like hem it up halfway so that it doesn't really fringe more. But yeah, I don't think that's a great answer.
I don't think with the cutting, I don't think is a bad idea. I had the same thought, but I'd be concerned with it doing exactly that, with it kind of bubbling along the edge. I'd almost want to either heat the scissors or heat a knife.
Yep.
And kind of use that to cut and seal right away, than to have to run something around it.
Cauterize
the
wound.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because when you burn plastic, it can kind of get a little wavy.
Yeah.
Potentially. You're right. They make like hot knives.
Yeah.
That can actually cut, heated temperature, and it's meant for cutting plastic stuff.
That's a band, right?
Yeah. It's a James Brown song, I think. Hot knife. Yeah. So unless you have a hot knife, then yeah, that may be a good alternative. If you used a wood burning tool, could you do it with that, or would it? I think
that's gonna be messy.
Yeah, it would be messy, and it would
really
kind of
messy.
potentially melt.
Like a wood burner or a soldering iron.
Yeah. Soldering iron
say,
knows it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I once did it basically by recutting, and then I just put a few drops of fray check on, which is a liquid product you can get that is just for that job.
Yeah. Michelle brought up a good point on here on Facebook. She said clear nail polish.
Yep, acetate. Because I think fray check is probably an acetate. So yeah.
Yeah. So clear nail polish or fray check, you can get it at a store like Joann's or Michael's or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anywhere that sells fabric and notions and things like that will probably sell fray check. Very good. Cool. Hope that helps.
Can I just say I find that problem annoying? That is the ribbons on my Glengarry or my Balmoral actually, because that's what I was wearing, always really just bug the hell out of me. Especially on the rosette. I mean, the ribbons on the back is like, okay, I deal with it. But for the rosette, when the rosette started fraying and coming apart, I was just like, that's when I started doing the fray check, because you can't just cut off the ribbon, recut that. It's so close to the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I have a different outlook on it. It used to my OCD-ness used to bother me about it. More so on the flashes that I would have when the flashes would fray a little bit. Mac is shaking his head yes back there. That would bother me more. But Eventually, I came out of my everything must look shiny and new and perfect all the time, and started falling in love with things that are well loved and well worn. So I love this sporran as beat up as it is because it is well worn. It is the one that I wear.
Okay.
So I've come to appreciate it in a different way. That my flashes that have a little bit of fray on the bottom, it's frayed because I've worn them so much, because I love them so much. So it's just a different mentality with it.
Wabi sabi.
Yes, indeed. It's accepting what the imperfections, accepting the things you can't fix. It's embracing the suck, as they say.
In a very aesthetic way.
Yes.
Yep.
Indeed. Quite.
Okay.
Cool. All right, Erik.
Yeah.
We'll do one more from you and one more from Mac.
Yeah. Okay. I can't decide if I want to do this one or just do something else.
Mac's giving me.
Thank you for all the questions, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna save these for another. Richard, I am aware of your question, but I'm gonna save that so we give it more attention. So, John McFly. I really love the Black Stewart tartan. What other tartans combine a simple, prominent black background with a more colorful pivot in such an effective way? The only other example I can think of right now is Norwegian Night. So, Stewart Black.
Okay, so
Personal favorite of mine. I always like that one.
Yeah.
It's very dramatic.
And we'll bring Mac in. Yeah. Bring in the look that he has right now, Adam. Yes.
In
yes.
deep contemplation.
The answer is on the ceiling.
It's got a very Nero Wolf vibe there. You just got.
So, black tartan. Mainly black background.
Cadillac.
Yes. Yeah. The I have two. So, Mac, do you want to go first? Are you still thinking?
I'm still thinking.
Okay. I'm shocked, Mac, that you did not jump out with the flagship tartan, Mac.
Well, I just looked at that one over Eric's shoulder.
Yep, American Heritage. Mac refers to it as our flagship tartan because we sold it for so long.
Yep.
So American Heritage was the first one I thought of. And then the other one that I thought of was Menzies, a.k.a. Mingus.
Yeah.
And that one Menzies has they have a black and white version, and they have a red and black version. So that one is another one where there's a lot of black and then just like a single color standout. The red and black Menzies is a pretty tough looking design. I think the New Jersey Devil Pipe Band wears that one. So, all right, you can go next. Yes, you in the hat.
Owen Glendour.
Okay, Glendour. That's a good one.
It's the tartan I recommend to anybody who's doing an Imperial cosplay in Star Wars worlds. It's the perfect Imperial tartan, in my opinion.
Okay. Any other black ones, Mac?
See, that's but I like the one with the yellow stripe and a little better. But that's just me in that one.
Still, it's dramatic.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
See, I'm trying to think of something like more like now. I'm seeing Stewart Black over your shoulder.
Now he did say colorful.
That's where, and that's why I left Menzies out because Menzies it's just a two tone.
Well, red's a colorful pivot. That's why
it is.
I do have another one. Was that what's the one? The black Welsh one. We used to call it the Tron tartan.
Oh, is that
Pride of Wales?
Yeah.
Pride of Wales.
Yep. That's a good one.
I love and hate that tartan. It says awesome. As a club kid, I want to have a kilt in that because it would look fantastic on a dance floor because black and all these wild, bright colored stripes. But every time they come in on the cutting table, I'd imagine I had a light cycle going across it because it's like black with all these neon colors on it. So yeah, very dramatic, but kind of cool. Are they still doing rectangular sets, or did they switch to square sets?
More squarish.
Okay.
They've squared it.
It'd be a lot better in square.
It depends on which one.
Okay.
All right, Mac, what's yours?
I kind of go back to Earthrise a little bit on this too, because that's got a little bit of that blue.
Okay.
The
That's
blue and
beautiful.
the gray make it a little bit more pop.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, the gradation of the color with the grays makes it more subtle. So it's not. That wasn't the vibe I was getting from the question, I guess.
Yeah.
But it is. Yeah. It's
Irish
too
heritage.
elegant.
Irish Heritage is the other one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of black in that. Or the Dropkick Murphys tartan, which they've done nothing with. I'm just going to curse, but I'll not.
Yeah.
Yes. Scruffy Wallace tartan.
Say the one right next to you.
Yeah, Jesus. Scruffy Wallace tartan. That's
Was
another one.
that Broken Arrow?
Yeah, Broken Arrow.
But that's very similar to the Glendur yellow.
Yeah.
You could do German along those lines too,
Yeah. German Heritage, yeah.
or German American.
Mm-hmm.
That's got a little bit more color to it.
Yes, yes. But it's that those two are still more like a balanced. It's not mostly black. I feel like the Germans are, it's mostly it's half black, half red.
What about was it the Italian American? The Italian.
I still hate that one so much. I do.
That is a black field, isn't it?
Yes, I know. It's one that a customer had me design, and I didn't like the end design, but he made me do it. And it was
Made an
for
offer you couldn't
someone.
refuse.
So, He what?
He made an offer you couldn't refuse.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Oh, man.
You got to do the voice that way.
Talk about stereotypes.
Yeah, indeed. All right. We'll do one more. Mac, what do we got?
All right, so we have Carl asking, this is a little more of a fun question. Is there any restricted tartans that you would love to have woven and wear?
Restricted tartans we would love to have woven.
You can't have it.
Can't have it. Like the UPS or Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
I know what your answer is. Mac.
All right, Mac,
McDuck.
what's your answer?
Yep.
McDuck.
McDuck.
Oh, Jesus God.
Yep. Ding, ding, ding.
It's all for war bonds.
I'm so glad the McDuck tartan is restricted. So Mac cannot
And yet
get it.
you can get it.
Well, it's,
Not through very honorable means.
back
but
to
it has,
ethics
it
and
has
things
happened.
woven in Pakistan. Yes, the McDuck tartan is
Yep.
available
It is
in
out
Pakistan.
there somewhere.
Indeed. So Mac's answer is McDuck. Eric, what is your...
Problem is, the one I would want, in some ways I'd want the most, I wouldn't wear it because I wouldn't actually be that gauche. I think
Balmoral?
Balmoral would be awesome, and it kind of vibes with my world, but and I really do think it's a sharp tartan, but I wouldn't actually wear it because I'd feel like a douche. So
Yeah, understood.
I'm trying to think of one that's restricted that I would wear. And Hello Kitty is probably up there, actually.
Well, we do have someone from
Well,
downstairs in the store. Mr. Anderson is saying Shrek.
Yeah. Okay.
So if they Shrek is restricted, I would wear that. That'd be cool. There's got to be some that are restricted, but are more subtly restricted, not obviously restricted like a corporate tartan is.
See,
Yeah.
but if it's to some degree, my answer is kind of this, and it's very much in line with your Balmoral answer.
Okay.
No, I didn't say Balmoral. I don't have a tartan necessarily from an aspect of if it's restricted and people don't want me or others to wear it, then I don't want to wear it. If
It's a hypothetical.
Yeah, I understood.
very
Yeah, yeah.
hypothetical.
If from an art perspective, sure, there are tartans that are restricted, and I'm like, that's a cool looking tartan. But if it's a clan tartan that is only for the clan chief, or if there's it's something like that that's restricted because it's this guy did it and it's for this, or this gal or whatever did it and it's for this
wouldn't
meaning.
be a jerk like that.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's one
like
of
I
those
was
where
saying.
like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
You would never do that.
Yeah.
But in a purely hypothetical.
I kind of the Shrek tartan has a little bit of a thing.
Hey now.
Cause like the colors in it, I like the colors in it. I don't mind it.
Adam's over here pumping his fist. Yeah.
Is it the Philadelphia Sons of the American Revolution? Is that
Yeah.
what that one's?
Yeah.
I was trying to think of the name, getting the name accurate on it, but yeah, because that's based off of Washington's coat.
Okay.
Like I really like that one as well.
That'd be neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to be a member of the Philadelphia.
What about the was it Lefroy or
Somebody
Lockable
did
and-
say that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lockable,
Yes. Changing my answer. Yes. Lefroy.
Shrek's out.
The Lafroig,
Yes.
the Lafroig tartan.
Lefroy.
Okay.
Yes, that's the one. It is restricted. It has been woven, but there was like a couple limited runs in it that
Yeah,
the mill did.
very,
And there was
very,
like
very.
an off cut. So I think one kilt company, I forget who it was, had a little bit of that. But yes, and then Lefroy has done the tartan in like blankets and scarves.
Yeah.
They were at the Tartan Day Parade. We have video at them Tartan Day Parade.
Really?
Yep, marching down the street, having their banner, and they have some, Lefroy, scarves on and stuff, and it's like, what? Damn, let me do a kilt. I love Lefroy. I'm gonna do it. But no. Hear that, Lefroy? We need to tag them in this video.
Yeah.
Please, Lefroy, help us help you.
Help us help you.
We want to honor our love of Lefroy by wearing your tartan. Please. I beseech thee. Getting all. Yeah. All right. Enough. All right. Question of the day. Should we do the question about the one that we just were asked, or should we do the question about the favorite universal tartan with symbolism, or not clan tartan, but tartan with symbolism?
But both them. You do both them. I think let's leave the comment on that question for the restricted, but favorite tartan that has symbolism. They could be because you like the design or because you like the symbolism. It's probably going to be both, let's be honest.
What's your favorite tartan that has a lot of symbolism imbued in the tartan? It's the design is good as well as the symbolism is good. What is your favorite one that you either have or want to have? Let us know in the comments. Very good. Until next time, boys and girls. Slanjava.
Slanjava. Shots the monkey. Da, da, da. We keep going with this. Is that camera rolling? I sure hope it was.